Oh dear, we had a bit of a disaster. My Bradford pear broke. We had a storm yesterday that blew through, and I didn't realize it, but this pear tree had a little bit of a rot going on there, and the whole half of the tree came down. So now we got to take this down today, and I certainly have a lot more bright light in my garden, but I have a lot more trees in the back, so it'll be fine. But yeah, this is what I came home to yesterday at the boat. So, one less tree. So we have a little work to do. The tree needs to be taken down. It can't be saved. There's too much damage. And yeah, life goes on. Maybe I'll put more gardening things here next year. Good thing is it didn't ruin my little bistro set. And this chair just kind of caught the tree. So we'll see what happens after we cut this back this afternoon. Hello folks. Alright, well, we had that big mishap with our tree, and unfortunately half the tree came down, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But my flowers are starting to bloom. I just fed these. They're starting to bloom. They weren't looking too good for most of the season, but I figured we still have a couple months where they can still bloom. And oh yes, my garden cart, I'm cleaning up in the backyard, and then I just hung this from a tree. So they either saw the dog next door or a chipmunk, but anyway, this is my kale, and it's kind of gone crazy. I have to harvest that really soon. My oregano right there, chives, and rosemary in there. So I'm cleaning up here because I'll show you my big disaster tree. I'll post some pictures. Of what happened. And my two sons came over, and my daughter helped me get it all cut up, but now a lot of the shade in my garden is gone. So I made this into a little seating area. I'm trying to make different seating areas and use up what I have. I don't want to buy anything. Now this is going to need an umbrella, but I'm not buying one until springtime, unless I can find one really a good closeout. Then I would get it now, but it's just something I have to store. And look at all these leaves already. I mean, it's just August, so, but we have lots and lots of leaves out in the yard. So anyway, I'll show you what I've done with the tree part. So this is what happened with the tree, and this was like half the tree. It was a big huge branch that just broke off, but the rest of the tree is still green, so I'm just gonna let it go and see what happens. But because of that, I've had to change this whole area now, because this was all deep shade, and now it gets sun for a good part of the day. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to do some buckets, and since I have a back problem, I'm trying to do all my new gardening projects to raise them up. So a while back I got these 3 trays at Mark's. They were like $6.99 a piece, and I've had these buckets They're big rubber containers. I got those at Aldi's years ago. So I'm using that, and down here I've had these containers for years. I had them stored, and I want to catch the rainwater that runs off so I can use that, and it'll have some nutrients in it too. So anyway, I'm setting that up, and I'm going to plant a few fall veggies in there because you can still plant carrots, and I have a list, if I remember I'll link it below, of vegetables that you can still plant. Lettuces, kale, spinach. So I want to fill these up and use that. So now I have a nice sunny area for my garden. And then I have this bench that I've had for years. It needs a little cleaning up, but when I get tired, then I can just sit there. And of course these pots here don't have any flowers in them, and I'm not going to bother planting any flowers now. It's getting too late in the season. And then this little fish, it's actually a spitter for a pond, but it's all clogged up. So I just stuck it here in the bird bath. So I have that. And then this, I usually put a double tier of flowers in here, and I make this into a gnome garden, just didn't get around to it. And I'm not planting anything in there anymore this year either. So my bench used to be over here where my gardening things are now, but now it's in the sun. And I don't want to buy 2 umbrellas, so I moved it over here into this shady spot. So this then will be another area where people can come and sit. So yeah, I may have a cookout, who knows? So that's what's going on there. So things haven't changed too much in this area. I have a volunteer rose of Sharon here. I may let that grow because my lilac, this little spindly thing, is every year it dies off a little bit. So I may leave that there. And I have a bamboo screen that I want to put around my air conditioner, but I'll wait till spring to do that as well. And then over here I just put another chair, and it's another little seating area. So that's what I've been working on, and I can only work a couple hours at a time. So slowly but surely, by the time I get it all done, it'll be time to cover it all up for the fall. So there's my helpers. They like being out here with me. And over here I have my hummingbird feeder. I like to put some red fake flowers in it just to attract the hummingbirds, and they do come, and I need to paint that little bird cage. I think I'll paint that red too. So that's that. Now over here in this area where I have the table and chairs, I've had this used to be a fountain with coconut core and everything. Well, the coconut core is long gone. I don't want to buy more coconut core. So I had another one of these rubber bins, and I raised that up so I can also plant some things in there. And over here I have some leftover tomato cages and sticks and things like that. And I just have this pot, and I just turned it upside down and put another one over here. And I want to spray paint that with black paint so it's more uniform. So that'll lift things up so I don't have to bend over so much. And then here is my garden. Try and get over here, and it's looking pretty lush. I have kale growing and chard, lots of chard. Over here I have cucumbers, and over there I have peppers and pimentos and bush beans and more cucumbers. And then against the fence here, I have tomatoes growing. I'll back up a little bit. So these are tomatoes, and I have 5 of them, and they're different varieties. Some are the little small, they're so sweet, and some of them are the bigger tomatoes. And I have not had a ton of tomatoes yet this year. They're pretty late, but they all went in late because it was such a wet spring. So I have that growing. Volunteer tomato, and that's got a couple of tomatoes coming. I don't know how many tomatoes I'll get from that. And then over here, my coleus is doing very nicely. The impatiens, not so much, but well, anyway. So in here I have a little flower garden and more tomatoes over there. And here I have a dahlia coming up. And then I have my volunteer redbud. So the garden is coming along. It needs some attention. But, and this is my parsley that's bolted. So maybe I'll get some seeds out of that. So our trimming left quite a mess all over the place, but that's okay because now it's a little brighter here, and I just need to get the leaf blower out, and we can enjoy a few more nice warm days. I never did get my fountain set up. I might still do that and enjoy it for a month. But anyway, my flowers didn't do too well because it was too shady. So maybe now they'll grow a little better. Now over here I still have some seedlings. They're not going to do much anymore, but they've got cucumber flowers on them. So I don't know, I may stick them in the ground and see what happens. So I had to set up this higher fence because my dogs like to jump in here, back here, and I keep my pots, my spare pots back there, and little critters like to go under there and they go crazy, so they make a mess back there. So I got that all cleaned up, and this is about as far as I got on a gnome garden. That's pretty pathetic, but anyway. That's okay. A lot of work was done this summer, and what I'm trying to do is reduce my work out here, and if my tree hadn't have fallen, I would have been on a better track. But now, you know, I have all this mess from taking down that big tree, and we cut a big shrub down here, but it's still viable. It'll come back and that'll fill in there a little bit. So we still have that. And then over here, I showed you all my plans there. So it's getting there again. And I have these tiles that I bought. I was going to put them on my deck, but there weren't enough. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I really don't have a spot for them, but I don't want to get rid of them because they might come in useful. So anyway, it's a beautiful day here, and I'm enjoying my garden as much as I can. And it's looking pretty good, looking pretty cleaned up, but it's a process. Like I said, I can only work like 2 or 3 hours at a time, and then that's it for the day. So, but as long as the weather's nice and holding out, that'll be just fine. So even though my tree is half a tree now, I'm going to give it a chance and see if it'll maybe heal itself. If not, I'll have it taken down next year. But I still have a lot of privacy. I have a little tiny woods behind my house, and I have a lot of pine trees and various trees that I planted. And so I still have a very private garden, even though I live, there's 2 streets, one on either side. There's a street there and a street here, but I can't even see it really, and it's still very private, and I enjoy my garden a lot. Hello, puppies! Okay, finally got this mess cleaned up. It's all set up. Got all the leaves raked. I used my leaf blower. That was fun. So, see if I can get in here without stepping on doggies. All right. Okay, so I got everything done back here. Everything's copacetic now. And hopefully it'll stay that way for a while. I'm hoping for rain. We still haven't gotten any. My little seating area. My garden area. My dog. Just some flowers and bushes. Another seating area. This fountain needs some work. I filled it up and it leaks, so I need to get some of that sealant stuff and see if I can get that running. So the path is all cleaned up. My little second garden area now. Something for the birds. Although my dogs like to chase the birds, and they've actually caught a couple. And another seating area. And then my composter. Boy, that's been getting a lot of use. And over here, this table's rusty, but I still have plants on it. So right there, I'm going to put a potting bench, and this is going to go in the trash, but not until next year. And I use this bin for cleanup. And then my deck is all good to go. And last night I sat out here and it was wonderful. It was a beautiful night. And I have a fan going, and if you blow a fan where you're sitting, the mosquitoes will go away. So my little greenhouse is all set to go for next spring. So I'll just take the plastic off before the snow comes. And hopefully some of my flowers will bloom, because right now it looks like a Addams Family planter. So anyway, that's my deck and my garden all finished. And now I will just harvest my crops and be done with it. So, hello. I just had my shower. I'm having a iced tea on my deck and just enjoying the beautiful warm August weather. And of course my dogs have found something to bark about. They're always finding something. But anyway, it's very relaxing, very nice, except for that. But that's okay. This is my friend the crane. I've had this guy for years and years. I got him a long time ago. I think it was at Mark's, and he was really cheap. But boy, I'll tell you, the cost of everything has just gotten so ridiculous that I don't know, a lot of people can't afford to buy a lot of extra things, which is a shame. But it's been a different year, that's for sure. So I just thought I'd come out here and enjoy the peace and quiet, which it was up until a couple minutes ago. But that's Chloe, and she likes to guard the yard. So whenever there's anything out there, a squirrel, a chipmunk, the neighbor's dog, whatever it is, she decides she has to fence guard. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my tea. I thought I would just, I'm on a swing. I really shouldn't be swinging and filming. But yeah, so get out and enjoy your yard if you have one, or your balcony, or open a window and curl up with a book in a nice chair that you have and enjoy. So I'll be back in a little bit and we'll talk about something else.